Hey everyone. You know, every year on March 8th, our feeds are full of posts and messages celebrating International Women's Day. But have you ever stopped and wondered what the story is behind it all? It's a history that's actually rooted in protest, in struggle, and a really powerful demand for change. So why that day? Why March 8th specifically? Well, the answer isn't just some random historical fact. It's a story of a movement that literally changed the world. So let's dive in and unpack that story right from the very beginning.
All right, so to really get this, our story starts not in some government building, but out on the streets of a really busy city. We've got to go back to 1908 in New York City, where one single event pretty much ignited a fire that would eventually spread all across the globe.
And just think about the sheer scale of this. This wasn't just a small group of people. We are talking about 15,000 women. Can you picture that? 15,000 women who decided to take to the streets, totally united by one cause and a refusal to be silent anymore. So what were they marching for? Well, their demands were super clear and incredibly urgent. They were fighting for higher pay, for shorter work hours, and for safer working conditions. I mean, these are fundamental things, right? These were the very real everyday struggles they were facing, and this was a fight for basic dignity. And because of that, the protest really quickly became something much bigger than just a labor dispute. It grew into this powerful, unified voice that was demanding broader rights for all women. Now, this journey from a protest on the street to a global day of observance, it didn't happen overnight. It was really built on three key milestones. You've got the spark from the protest in 1908, then this big global idea that was proposed in 1910, and finally getting official recognition in 1977. So that really powerful protest in New York, it planted a seed. But it took a visionary activist from all the way across the Atlantic to see how that seed could grow into a worldwide movement. And that activist was Clara Zetkin. Just 2 years after that New York march, this German activist stood up and made a really bold suggestion. She proposed that there should be a dedicated day every single year in every country to press for women's demands and to honor their fight. Her vision was just so clear and so powerful. This was never going to be just a local event. From the very beginning, she saw it as a day to represent the rights and, just as importantly, the struggles of women everywhere. This was the moment the idea really went international. So Zetkin's idea starts to catch on. At first, it was just in a few countries, but then the momentum just grew and grew. The movement spread across the world, gaining more and more support, until it reached the highest international stage you can imagine. And then finally, in 1977, the United Nations gave the day its official stamp of approval. And this was a massive step. It basically solidified March 8th on the global calendar and cemented its status as a day for the whole world to observe women's rights. So, all of that brings us to today. And knowing this history of struggle, of protest, of activism, it completely changes how we see March 8th. It gives it this depth, this weight, and a really powerful sense of purpose. And that's really the whole point here. International Women's Day is so much more than just a celebration. It's a symbol. It's a symbol of a long and difficult fight for equality and rights, a fight that began on the streets with those 15,000 women and one that still echoes in the calls for equal pay and fair treatment that we still hear today. So as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this question. Knowing its roots in the fight for fair pay, for reasonable hours, for basic dignity, what does this day truly mean to you? It's a day to remember, to reflect, and to recognize the strength and struggle that brought us here. Thanks for listening.